All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to move on into our research paper outlines today. We're going to take a break from argument essays. Remember that the typed essay has to be turned into turnitin.com by tomorrow, as well as the scoring assignment. So you've got several assignments that will lock tomorrow, so you need to be very productive today. All right, I want to show you an example of the outline, and just to give you some information on what's expected and what you'll need to be able to turn in. The most tedious part of the outline is going to be finding your quotes. I'll tell you that right now. But if you've already annotated all of your research articles, then you really only have to go back into Macbeth. But I'm going to show you a really cool tool that I found that will help expedite the process. Okay, so on your outline, you need to make sure that anything that's in bold print on the sample is to be typed directly on the outline. So you need to make sure that stuff is there. Anything that's in brackets or highlighted, a lot of the times I just put extra descriptions and information there for you, so that way you can understand what you're supposed to write in those areas. Those are to be deleted and switched out for whatever information you need to use for your essay. It should be written in MLA format, meaning there's a header at the top left-hand corner of your first page only, and then ultimately, a heading at the first page, and then the header at the top right-hand corner for every page with your last name, and then the page number of, however many pages it's going to take you. You have to have at least 2 claims to support your thesis, okay? And so your thesis, again, is going to be 2 sentences. You have kind of like your overarching argument in the first sentence, and then the second sentence introduces the people that you will be comparing. So each claim needs to support that thesis. Now, under each claim, you need 2 pieces of evidence about your fictional Macbeth character from the play, and 2 from your real life person, okay? So your outline has to include evidence from the play for Macbeth and 3 different sources on your real life person. So some of you that turned in your annotations and they were based off of a Macbeth character, number 1, I didn't grade it, so you need to go back and check those comments in the grade book. And 2, that doesn't equate, your 3 sources for your person. So as soon as I'm getting your works cited assignments graded, I'm going to check that all 3 of them support your real life person that you've chosen to compare to your Macbeth character. So if you have any confusion about that, start checking your comments in the gradebook, in Schoology, or ask me, okay? I'm trying to work through getting through your works cited pages this week. All right, so here's what a sample would look like. You have the heading on the left-hand side, just like this. You'll have your name, my name, obviously English 3 AP dual credit, and then obviously the 15th of April is the due date, and then your last name and page number would go up here. You can just title it Macbeth-related research paper outline. We don't have a fancy title just yet. So in your introduction, you'll be typing your hook, and then where you're introducing your fictional character from Macbeth as well as your real life person, and then you have your thesis. Every single one of you has received feedback on it. They're in comments in the gradebook, or if you click on the actual submission itself, you should have comments there, or you and I have discussed it, or you and I have worked on it in class. So I gave you mine again here, and then how it would break down into one kind of section here. So these are the ways in which we discussed it, right? You have your motivating factors, plus the topic, plus the theme statement, or whatever defensible assertion you're making. And then in the second one, you have, that Macbeth character and the real life person and how their situations are similar, right? And I've modeled that for you here. So then you're going to give me your first claim. And here I've taken one that would support my thesis. Old-fashioned notions of femininity are one of the many tools through which society imposes limitations on women, impeding their path to success. So again, that reinforces my thesis. Then I have my quote from Macbeth, because remember, I've chosen to look at Lady Macbeth, so this is one of hers where she's talking about unsex me here. We talked about this in the first act, where she wants to have courage like a man. And, there's a real prominent thread of gender roles right there in that moment. And then I've also taken a quote from one of the articles that I found about Britney Spears' conservatorship and how that's typically, number 1, it's controlled by her father, and 2, it's an arrangement that's typically made for somebody who is elderly or somebody with severe cognitive impairment. And Brittany doesn't have either of those things, right? As of right now. So I would definitely need another quote from Macbeth and another quote from that article just to support this claim. So 2 pieces of evidence for each body paragraph per person. Okay, and then my second one, I would also follow that same pattern. I also gave you a second claim just so you can see how to do this. So I said women also struggle to achieve success due to the limitations that society's deep-seated patriarchal values place upon them. So that's basically another way to say something similar, but I do not at this point need to talk about the deep-seated patriarchal values and how I could prove that from both Macbeth and my articles, my research articles. So my second quote here could be from the same article, it could be from a separate one, but remember all 3 of those sources have to be in there for your real life person, and Macbeth has to be quoted twice for each body paragraph, okay? Now, if you have a third claim, then you would do that same process with your third claim, okay? So your concluding point needs to be kind of ultimately breaking it down for us. Like, what is the so what? What is this new way of seeing the situation that you've presented for us? And again, universally, beyond the realm of just Macbeth and just, that real life person, what are the bigger issues that we're not talking about that you have made clear within your research paper? Okay? So I'm going to show you what it looks like on the assignment. All right, so I have some things that are color-coded here for you. You're going to be able to delete a lot of this text because I've embedded my examples again here for you. So be mindful of what needs to be deleted and what needs to be replaced with your information. So anything that's in yellow, you do need to fill in for yourself. If it's in blue, then it's going to be an example, and if it's in green, they're important notes. So obviously up here, that's in yellow. You're going to change your own last name, your name, and your teacher. You can leave all this the same. You would fill in everything here that's yellow. And these are just notes, okay? And then, of course, I've embedded my examples here for you again. So anything that's yellow, like I said. Okay, and then ultimately, if you have a third claim, go ahead and put that down here. Add in, instead of Roman numeral 4, press enter, let that be your third claim, and then your concluding point would be Roman numeral 5. So it's up to you. I know some of you are choosing to do a third claim and some of you are not, so it just depends. All right, I'm going to show you this fancy schmancy tool because to try to go back into Macbeth, especially if you weren't taking notes throughout the play, it's going to be extremely time consuming and you need to get this done by tomorrow. So there's this really awesome link. If you click on where it says The Tragedy of Macbeth, this website is pretty cool because you can choose speeches by character. So if Lady Macbeth is my chosen character, I can click on her and it kind of gives me the beginnings of some of her speeches. So, maybe I would look at this one. But screw your courage to the sticking place and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, whatever. So, even Macbeth right here, right, when he says, false face must hide what the false heart doth know, that was a really good line there too. So this is a really great resource because not only can you choose by character, but I believe you can also just look by certain acts, and they do give you kind of a preview of what's happening. So, if you want to look at any of the witches, if you want to look at just Macbeth, you want to look at Macduff or Banquo, all of this is here, and it's all of their important speeches. So this might be a really great way to expedite the process in looking for your text evidence, unless you already have things written down, in which case then you're good to go. All right, so this is due by tomorrow. If you are not on Zoom today and you need to earn your attendance credit, then down here you're going to complete this attendance question for today. I want to know what your first piece of evidence is from Macbeth, and I need you to quote and document it correctly. And then that way you can just copy and paste it straight on your outline. Okay, and if you're on Zoom, clearly I would love for you to find this, but I would like you to spend more time actually working through the outline. Remember, tomorrow is also the deadline to submit your timed writing essays. as well as your scoring assignments. So there are plenty of options no matter what level you are for today's expectations. All right, make sure you're on Zoom if you have a question, or email me, and we'll talk a lot about what's due tomorrow. All right, have a great Wednesday, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.